Welcome to Bedtime True Crime, the YouTube channel that takes you on a haunting exploration of the world of true crime, serial killers, and unsolved mysteries. Join us as we journey into the shadows, unearthing spine-tingling tales that will keep you awake at night. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to never miss another thrilling episode. Now get comfortable, turn off the lights, and prepare to be captivated by the sinister side of human nature as we delve into today's bone-chilling story. In the late 1970s, Los Angeles shimmered with glitz and glamour. The Sunset Strip's neon lights and pulsating nightlife lured people from all walks of life seeking fame, fortune, or a simple taste of excitement. Yet beneath this sparkling facade hid something far more sinister, a pair of cold-blooded killers who would come to be known as the Sunset Strip Killers. Join us on this chilling journey as we unveil how two seemingly ordinary individuals morphed into merciless murderers, discover their heinous crimes that left a trail of terror in their wake, and delve into the twisted motivations behind their actions. Brace yourself for startling revelations about near misses between potential victims and these monsters lurking in plain sight. Our story commences in June 1980, when an unsuspecting jogger made a gruesome discovery near Griffith Park in Los Angeles: the lifeless body of a young woman discarded like trash by the roadside. Unbeknownst to them at that moment, this horrifying find marked only the beginning of one of LA's most notorious killing sprees. The victim was later identified as Exie Wilson, an aspiring actress drawn to Hollywood by dreams of stardom, but met instead with unspeakable violence. She became just one among many hopefuls whose lives were tragically cut short. Who could commit such atrocities? What dark secrets festered within those responsible for these brutal acts? As investigators unraveled this case, they uncovered not one but two ruthless predators working together: Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy. As we peel back layers revealing shocking details about their lives before embarking on their murderous rampage, you'll see disturbing patterns foreshadowing their descent into darkness. And prepare yourself for spine-chilling accounts from those who came face-to-face with these monsters yet narrowly escaped death's grip. In time, we'll examine what ultimately led authorities to capture these heartless killers and bring them to justice. But be warned, this chilling tale is not for the faint of heart. So gather your courage as we venture into the twisted world of Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy, the Sunset Strip Killers. As darkness enveloped Los Angeles' Sunset Strip, the neon lights and pulsating music from nearby clubs cast an alluring glow over the bustling streets. Exie Wilson, a young woman seeking excitement and opportunity, was unaware that danger lurked just around the corner. That fateful night, Exie was last seen leaving a popular nightclub in the company of an enigmatic stranger. Witnesses would later recall their encounter, but could provide little information about this mysterious man who ultimately led her down a treacherous path. The following morning, joggers stumbled upon a gruesome scene near Griffith Park. Exie's lifeless body lay abandoned by the roadside. Her hands were cruelly bound behind her back, and unmistakable signs of sexual assault marred her once vibrant form. Investigators instantly recognized they were dealing with a sadistic killer who reveled in inflicting pain upon his victims. News of Exie's murder sent shockwaves through LA as fear gripped its inhabitants. The once thriving Hollywood streets now echoed with whispers of unease as it became apparent that a predator stalked among them. But Exie wasn't alone. More bodies soon emerged. In rapid succession, 3 other young women met similarly horrifying ends: Ginny Lubin, Cindy Hudspeth, and Marnette Comer. Each bore striking resemblances to Exie attractive brunettes in their early 20s, lured into peril by the vibrant nightlife along the Sunset Strip. This vicious murderer displayed a chilling modus operandi, abducting his victims before subjecting them to brutal sexual assaults, followed by callously discarding their remains across remote locations within Los Angeles County. As investigators pieced together evidence from each crime scene, they noticed distinct patterns emerging. Not only did each victim share similar physical characteristics, but also suffered eerily comparable injuries inflicted by what appeared to be the same weapon, a .25 caliber handgun. As police raced against time to catch this ruthless killer, they faced an uphill battle. The vastness of Los Angeles made it difficult for them to pinpoint specific locations where these crimes might have occurred. Furthermore, the transient nature of life on the Sunset Strip meant that potential witnesses were often elusive and challenging to interview. Despite these obstacles, investigators remained steadfast in their pursuit, knowing that every moment spent searching could mean the difference between life and death for another innocent victim. Yet as they delved deeper into this case, little did they know just how close they would come to unmasking one of history's most notorious serial killers. As panic and dread gripped Los Angeles, the once vibrant Sunset Strip transformed into a sinister hunting ground for a merciless killer with an insatiable lust for violence. With each new victim discovered, investigators found themselves in a desperate race against time to uncover answers and stop this sadistic predator from striking again. The breakthrough they so desperately sought finally arrived in the form of a chilling phone call. The anonymous woman on the line spoke hesitantly, as if terrified someone might overhear her conversation with police. Her trembling voice revealed shocking details about the man behind these brutal slayings, Douglas Clark. She recounted how Clark had bragged about his gruesome exploits, even showing her macabre photographs of his victims' mutilated bodies. Yet perhaps most disturbingly, she claimed that Clark wasn't acting alone. There was another person involved in these horrific crimes, Carol Bundy. As investigators raced to verify this newfound information, they began unraveling a twisted tale of manipulation and murder involving two seemingly ordinary individuals whose lives had become entwined through shared desires for power and control. Douglas Clark's dark past included abusive parents who fueled his early fascination with death and violence. His cruel acts escalated over time from killing animals during childhood to more sinister deeds like arson and burglary. In stark contrast, Carol Bundy appeared outwardly normal at first glance. As a nurse's aide struggling to make ends meet in LA's competitive job market, few would suspect the deep-seated feelings of inadequacy hidden beneath her unassuming exterior, feelings born from years of emotional abuse by her domineering mother. When fate brought Clark and Bundy together, their twisted fantasies quickly intertwined, forming an inseparable bond built upon mutual depravity. Their relationship took a dark turn as they plotted ways to act out their darkest urges, culminating in a series of brutal murders that sent shockwaves through seasoned detectives working tirelessly on the case. Investigators painstakingly pieced together this chilling puzzle, realizing that the clock was ticking to catch these cold-blooded killers before more innocent lives were lost. The question remained, could they find enough evidence to link Clark and Bundy directly to the Sunset Strip slayings? And what role did Carol play in these heinous crimes? As we delve deeper into the sinister world of Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy, prepare for a gripping journey revealing how two seemingly ordinary people transformed into remorseless murderers whose actions would haunt Los Angeles for decades to come. As the investigation into the Sunset Strip killers intensified, detectives relentlessly pursued leads that would bring them closer to Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy. The anonymous tip had provided valuable information, but they still needed irrefutable evidence to link these two individuals directly to the gruesome murders. Digging deeper into their backgrounds, investigators uncovered a chilling pattern of behavior foreshadowing their descent into darkness. Both Clark and Bundy harbored troubled pasts marred by abuse and violence, experiences that would later fuel their twisted desires for power and control over others. A pivotal moment arrived when police searched Clark's apartment, uncovering incriminating photographs of several victims captured moments before their deaths. These haunting images not only exposed the killer's callous disregard for human life, but also offered a glimpse into their depraved world, where pain and suffering served as sources of pleasure. Armed with this damning evidence, authorities moved swiftly to apprehend both suspects. Yet upon confrontation with the allegations against them, neither showed any signs of remorse or guilt. Instead, each tried shifting blame onto the other in an effort to save themselves from prosecution. As detectives continued assembling their case against Clark and Bundy, increasingly disturbing details about their crimes emerged. It became apparent that these sadistic murderers meticulously selected their victims, young women fitting a specific physical profile who frequented bars along the Sunset Strip. Once abducted, these unfortunate souls were subjected to unspeakable horrors at the hands of their captors. They endured brutal sexual assaults followed by agonizingly slow deaths, as Clark and Bundy reveled in inflicting maximum pain upon those under their control. In one heart-wrenching account, a surviving victim detailed her terrifying ordeal after being kidnapped by the pair. She recounted how she was bound, gagged, and forced to watch helplessly as another woman was tortured and killed right before her eyes, all while knowing that she too would soon face the same grisly fate. Miraculously, this courageous young woman managed to escape her captors and alert authorities. Her testimony would later prove crucial in securing convictions against both Clark and Bundy during their subsequent trials. As the full extent of their depravity came to light, it was evident that these two seemingly ordinary individuals had been concealing a dark secret behind closed doors, one that would forever tarnish the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles' Sunset Strip. Little did anyone know at the time just how far-reaching the consequences of their actions would be, as more horrifying revelations were yet to come. As the investigation delved deeper into the Sunset Strip killers' horrifying reign of terror, it became evident that their murderous spree had lasted far longer than initially suspected. Some experts even estimated they may have been responsible for as many as 25 gruesome deaths, sending chills down the spines of those following the case. But what could possibly drive Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy to commit such heinous acts? As detectives explored their twisted psyches, a disturbing picture began to emerge, one marked by an insatiable thirst for power, control, and sadistic pleasure. Clark's fascination with death and violence could be traced back to his childhood when he would boast about killing animals for fun. This morbid curiosity later evolved into darker desires involving arson and burglary before ultimately manifesting itself in murder. But was there something more sinister lurking beneath these early warning signs? Bundy's motivations were rooted in her troubled past as well. Years of emotional abuse at the hands of her domineering mother left her feeling inadequate and desperate for validation, something she found through her relationship with Clark. Yet how did this seemingly ordinary woman become so entwined in such unspeakable crimes? Together, these two damaged souls formed a deadly partnership fueled by shared fantasies of domination and cruelty. They reveled in inflicting pain upon others while simultaneously deriving satisfaction from witnessing each other's perverse actions. Their chilling bond led them down a dark path that few could ever imagine traversing. As authorities pieced together this macabre puzzle, it became clear that stopping the Sunset Strip killers wasn't just about bringing them to justice, but also preventing further bloodshed on LA's once vibrant streets. The clock was ticking. Every moment counted toward saving potential victims from falling prey to these ruthless murderers. With mounting evidence against them, both Clark and Bundy were eventually arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. Their trials captivated the nation as gruesome details about their crimes were laid bare for all to see, forever shattering any illusions about Hollywood glamour or innocence along the infamous Sunset Strip. In the end, both killers received lengthy prison sentences for their unspeakable acts. Douglas Clark was sentenced to death row, where he remains today awaiting execution. Meanwhile, Carol Bundy was given life without parole after agreeing to testify against her former lover during his trial. As this chilling saga drew to a close, one question lingered in the minds of those who had followed it closely. How could two seemingly ordinary individuals become such ruthless killers? The answer lies deep within the darkest recesses of human nature, a place where twisted desires and insatiable cravings for power can transform even the most unassuming souls into remorseless murderers. And as we contemplate this harrowing tale, we are left wondering what other secrets may still lie hidden beneath the surface. Navigating a complex web of clues and witness accounts, authorities faced numerous challenges in gathering evidence and piecing together a solid case against the Sunset Strip killers. Although law enforcement responded swiftly to initial reports, it would take cutting-edge forensic techniques, dogged detective work, and sheer determination to bring these sadistic murderers to justice. The investigation hinged on several crucial aspects. One such aspect was collecting forensic evidence from various crime scenes, analyzing blood samples, hair fibers, and other trace elements left behind by both victims and perpetrators. In some cases, This painstaking process provided vital links between seemingly unrelated murders, enabling detectives to establish patterns that led them closer to identifying the culprits. Another groundbreaking component centered around DNA analysis. Despite being in its infancy during the early 1980s, this innovative technique allowed investigators to compare genetic material found at different crime scenes with samples taken from suspects like Clark and Bundy. The results were irrefutable. These individuals were responsible for multiple murders across Los Angeles County. In addition to forensics, police relied heavily on information gathered from interviews with potential witnesses who may have encountered or interacted with the killers during their spree. Each account proved invaluable as they painted a chilling picture of how Clark and Bundy selected their unsuspecting victims while blending seamlessly into LA's bustling nightlife scene. Overcoming significant hurdles throughout their inquiry, including tracking down transient witnesses along the notorious Sunset Strip, investigators remained steadfast in their pursuit of justice for those whose lives had been brutally cut short by these remorseless predators. As more pieces fell into place through tireless efforts and relentless determination, authorities began constructing an ironclad case against Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy. Their combined expertise not only brought closure to grieving families, but also ensured that two merciless killers would never again walk free among unsuspecting citizens on LA's once vibrant streets, forever changing the face of Hollywood's most iconic location. Amidst the darkness cast by Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy's chilling crimes, stories of survival emerged, individuals who narrowly escaped becoming tragic statistics at the hands of these ruthless killers. One survivor, a young woman named Maria, found herself in a terrifying situation on a fateful night along the Sunset Strip. Accepting what appeared to be an innocent offer for a ride home from Clark and Bundy, she soon realized something was amiss as they navigated LA's dimly lit streets. Her supposed saviors began discussing disturbing details about previous murders with cold detachment, sending shivers down her spine. Fear coursed through Maria's veins as she devised a daring plan to save herself from their clutches. Pretending to fall ill, she persuaded them to pull over near a bustling intersection. Seizing this opportunity, Maria leaped from the car and raced towards safety before alerting nearby police officers. Maria's harrowing account offered investigators crucial insights into how Clark and Bundy selected vulnerable targets under cover of darkness before subjecting them to unspeakable horrors. Her courage not only saved her own life, but also played a vital role in helping authorities gather evidence against these remorseless murderers. The emotional impact on surviving family members was immense as they grappled with the reality that someone so close had been taken away by such malevolent forces. Grief-stricken relatives sought solace in support groups or therapy sessions, while others channeled their pain into advocacy work aimed at raising awareness about violence against women and pushing for stronger protective laws. In sharing their heart-wrenching experiences, survivors like Maria, alongside bereaved families, remind us all of the human cost behind each horrifying headline, giving voice to those whose lives have been forever altered by the actions of Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy. Their resilience serves as testament to the indomitable spirit within us all. Even amidst overwhelming darkness, there remains hope for light to prevail. Delving into the twisted psyches of Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy, we uncover a chilling descent into darkness, fueled by their insatiable cravings for power, control, and sadistic pleasure. To comprehend what transformed these seemingly ordinary individuals into ruthless killers, we must examine the origins of their dark motivations. Clark's tumultuous upbringing was marred by abuse and neglect from his parents, likely contributing to his morbid fascination with death and violence. As he matured, this grim curiosity evolved into sinister fantasies involving domination and cruelty. His criminal history escalated from arson and burglary to ultimately encompassing murder. On the other hand, Bundy endured emotional torment at the hands of her domineering mother, who constantly belittled her. This left deep-seated feelings of inadequacy that lingered throughout adulthood. Desperate for validation, she found solace in her relationship with Clark, even if it meant participating in unspeakable atrocities. Together, they formed a toxic bond built on shared desires for dominance over others. Their murderous spree along the Sunset Strip targeted vulnerable young women whom they could manipulate before subjecting them to unimaginable horrors. Each crime meticulously planned to satisfy their darkest urges. Psychological analysis reveals traits commonly associated with psychopathy in both Clark and Bundy: lack of empathy or remorse, manipulative behavior, superficial charm, impulsivity, irresponsibility, pathological lying, sexual promiscuity, and failure to accept responsibility for one's actions. Their deadly partnership flourished as they fed off each other's twisted desires while enabling their worst impulses. However, little did they know that every depraved act would bring them closer to infamy as the notorious Sunset Strip killers. As our investigation delves deeper into their lives, we will soon uncover shocking details about how two seemingly unremarkable people became entwined in a world where pain and suffering were sources of pleasure, hidden within humanity's darkest corners where twisted desires and insatiable cravings for power can corrupt even the most ordinary souls. As authorities tightened their grip on Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy, a massive manhunt was launched to apprehend these merciless killers before more innocent lives were claimed. The anonymous tipster's chilling revelations had provided investigators with vital leads, but it would be the unwavering persistence of law enforcement that ultimately led to the capture of both suspects. The pivotal breakthrough occurred when detectives uncovered incriminating photographs concealed within Clark's apartment, haunting images connecting him directly to several victims, while also implicating his accomplice, Carol Bundy. Armed with this damning evidence, police acted swiftly in arresting the pair and pursuing justice for their heinous crimes. During intense interrogations, neither Clark nor Bundy displayed any remorse or guilt. Instead, they attempted to shift blame onto each other in desperate bids to save themselves from prosecution. However, as sordid details about their twisted partnership surfaced, it became evident that both held equal responsibility for the Sunset Strip murders. In separate trials shrouded by immense media scrutiny, prosecutors unveiled a staggering array of evidence against Clark and Bundy, including forensic findings, harrowing witness testimonies, and even confessions made by Bundy herself during her initial phone call with police. Ultimately convicted on multiple counts of murder, both defendants received fitting sentences. Douglas Clark was sentenced to death row where he awaits execution. Meanwhile, Carol Bundy accepted life without parole after agreeing to testify against her former lover during his trial. As Los Angeles exhaled a collective sigh of relief following these high-profile convictions, families who had lost loved ones at the hands of these cold-blooded murderers found some measure of closure witnessing justice being served. Today, as Douglas Clark languishes on death row and Carol Bundy serves out her life sentence behind bars, we are reminded once again how darkness can reside within seemingly ordinary individuals. Darkness potent enough to transform them into ruthless killers whose actions will forever haunt those left behind. As we reach the conclusion of this harrowing tale, it's important to reflect on the lessons learned from the chilling story of Douglas Clark and Carol Bundy, the Sunset Strip killers. Their murderous rampage serves as a stark reminder that evil can lurk behind even the most unassuming facades, and that seemingly ordinary individuals can be capable of unspeakable acts. Throughout their killing spree, these two remorseless murderers left a trail of shattered lives in their wake. But amidst the darkness, stories of survival and resilience emerged, testament to the strength of human spirit in overcoming adversity. The tireless efforts of investigators who worked relentlessly to bring these killers to justice demonstrate the importance of perseverance and determination when faced with seemingly insurmountable challenges. It is through their unwavering commitment that families were able to find some measure of closure and healing after losing loved ones at the hands of such brutal predators. In remembering those whose lives were tragically cut short by Clark and Bundy, let us also honor the courage displayed by survivors who narrowly escaped their clutches, for they serve as powerful reminders that hope can still prevail even in our darkest moments. That'll be all for this evening, fellow night owls. We love to hear your feedback, so if there's a notorious killer or sinister story you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments, which we check daily. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with all our stories and allow us to continue telling our true crime tales.